Hey, everybody, and welcome to another deep dive.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to get into something that might seem kind of basic at first, shoes.
Yeah.
But trust me, when it comes to walking, especially if you're carrying some extra weight, the right footwear can be a total game changer.
Absolutely.
Like we're talking a whole different level.
Yeah.
So we're going to uncover why those seemingly simple shoes are so crucial for your health and well-being. And get this, we're even going to tackle a topic that might make you rethink your entire shoe collection.
Right.
The importance of width.
That's right. You might be surprised to learn that wearing the wrong shoes,
Oh, yeah.
especially shoes that are too narrow, can lead to a whole cascade of problems. And we're not just talking about blisters and sore feet.
Wait, so my shoes could be causing problems beyond my feet? This is already getting interesting.
Yeah.
I'm all ears.
Think about it this way. When you're walking, your feet are absorbing a tremendous amount of force. Especially if you're carrying extra weight, with every step that force is distributed throughout your body, and if your shoes aren't providing the right support and cushioning those forces, can really wreak havoc on your joints, muscles, and even your bones.
Okay, I'm starting to see the bigger picture here. It's not just about comfort, it's about protecting my body. But let's get specific. What kind of problems can arise from wearing the wrong shoes?
We're talking about an increased risk of conditions like plantar fasciitis, which is that stabbing pain in your heel, knee pain, hip pain, even back pain.
Wow, I had no idea the impact could be so widespread. It sounds like ill-fitting shoes are a recipe for disaster.
They can be.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest culprits is wearing shoes that are too narrow.
You know, I've definitely been guilty of squeezing into shoes that were a bit snug.
Sure.
But what's the big deal about width?
Well, when your shoes are too narrow, they constrict your feet, preventing them from functioning properly. Your toes can't spread out naturally, which can lead to pain deformities like bunions and even balance issues.
So it's not just about vanity sizing. It's about giving our feet the space they need to move and function correctly. I'm starting to rethink those pointy-toed shoes in my closet.
And here's something else to consider. Obesity often leads to structural changes in the feet, including wider feet and flatter arches. So if you're carrying extra weight, you might need a wider shoe size than you're used to.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Our feet are changing along with our bodies.
Yeah.
But I've always thought that wider shoes were, well, less stylish. Is it possible to find shoes that are both wide and fashionable?
Absolutely. The good news is that the footwear industry is finally catching on to the importance of width and comfort. There are more and more brands offering stylish and supportive shoes in a variety of widths. You don't have to sacrifice fashion for function anymore.
That's a relief. But let's back up a bit. You mentioned that obesity can lead to structural changes in the feet.
Right.
Can you explain that further?
Sure. As we gain weight, the added pressure on our feet can cause the arches to flatten, a condition known as fallen arches or flat feet.
Okay.
This in turn can lead to pronation, where the foot rolls inward excessively when walking.
Pronation. I've heard that term before, but I'm not exactly sure what it means.
Imagine your foot like a tire. When a tire has proper inflation, it rolls smoothly, but when it's underinflated, it starts to bulge and roll inward. Pronation is similar. It's that inward rolling of the foot.
Ah, that's a great analogy.
Yeah.
Now I get it.
Yeah.
So obesity can lead to flat feet and pronation, both of which can cause problems if we're not wearing the right shoes.
Exactly. All those problems can range from discomfort to serious injuries. Plantar fasciitis, which we mentioned earlier, is a common result of overpronation.
Ouch, that heel pain sounds brutal. I'm starting to see why proper footwear is so crucial. But what exactly are we looking for in a shoe? I imagine there's more to it than just choosing a wider size.
You're right, width is important, but it's just one piece of the puzzle. We also need to consider cushioning arch support and stability.
Okay, let's break that down. Cushioning seems pretty straightforward. Is it just about finding shoes with a lot of padding?
Cushioning is more than just padding. It's about absorbing the shock of impact and protecting your joints. Look for shoes with thick, supportive midsoles that provide cushioning without feeling too squishy.
So it's about finding that sweet spot between softness and support.
Exactly. And here's where it gets really interesting. Studies have shown that proper cushioning can significantly reduce strain on your knees. One study found that insoles with higher cushioning properties actually improved knee biomechanics, leading to better joint protection.
Wait, so my shoes can actually protect my knees? That's amazing. I never realized the connection between footwear and joint health.
It's all connected.
Wow.
Think of it this way. When your feet hit the ground, the impact sends shock waves up through your legs.
Right.
Proper cushioning helps to absorb that shock, reducing the stress on your knees, hips, and even your back.
Okay, I'm officially convinced cushioning is a must-have. But what about arch support? How does that play into the equation?
Arch support is crucial, especially for people with flat feet or fallen arches, which, as we discussed, is common among obese individuals. A good arch support system helps to lift and stabilize the arch of the foot, preventing it from collapsing inward.
So it's like giving your arch a little extra support to help it stay in its proper position.
Exactly. And this can make a world of difference in terms of comfort and pain reduction. Remember plantar fasciitis?
hmm
Well, shoes with good arch support can help to alleviate the stress on the plantar fascia, reducing the risk of developing that painful condition.
So arch support is not just about comfort, it's about preventing serious foot problems. I'm learning so much.
Yeah.
But we haven't talked about stability yet. What does that mean in terms of shoes?
Stability refers to the shoe's ability to keep your foot from rolling or twisting excessively. It's about providing a solid foundation that helps you maintain balance and control.
I can see why that would be especially important for overweight walkers. We don't want to be wobbling around. How do we know if a shoe has good stability?
Look for shoes with a wide base, a firm heel counter that cups the back of your foot, and good torsional support.
Torsional support. Now there's a term I haven't heard before.
Think of it this way. Imagine trying to twist a wet towel. It's easy to do because the towel is flexible. But if you try to twist a dry, stiff towel, it's much harder. Torsional support in a shoe is like that stiff towel. It resists twisting, keeping your foot stable and preventing injuries.
Wow, that's a great visual. So to recap, we're looking for shoes that provide cushioning, arch support stability, and of course the right width.
You got it. And those four elements work together to create a shoe that supports your body, reduces pain, and enhances your overall walking experience.
This is all so fascinating. It's like a whole new world has opened up to me. I'm starting to see my shoes in a whole new light. But with so much to consider, I ask, how do we actually find these magical shoes? It sounds like a daunting task.
Yeah. It can be, but don't worry. We'll guide you through the process. In the next part of our deep dive, we'll be sharing practical tips on how to shop for shoes, try them on, and find the perfect fit.
Excellent. I'm already taking notes. Listeners, you won't want to miss this. Welcome back to our deep dive into finding the perfect shoes for overweight walkers. Before we, well, I guess there's no break in a podcast. Before we transitioned, we were talking about the importance of cushioning, arch support, stability, and width. That's quite the checklist.
It is, but don't worry, it's not as overwhelming as it might seem. Once you understand what to look for, finding the right shoes becomes much easier.
Okay, good. Because I have to admit, thinking about all those factors makes my head spin a little. So let's talk strategy. How do we actually go about finding these mythical shoes?
Well, the first step is research. Before you even set foot in a store, take some time to browse online. Look for brands that specialize in comfort and support. Many brands focus on designing shoes for people with specific foot conditions like plantar fasciitis, flat feet, or even diabetes. These brands often have a deeper understanding of the unique needs of people who require extra support.
That makes perfect sense. It's like going to a specialist instead of a general practitioner. You're more likely to find expertise tailored to your specific needs.
Yeah.
But with so many brands out there, how do we know which ones are truly reputable?
That's where reviews come in handy. Reading reviews from other customers can give you valuable insights into a brand's quality, comfort, and durability. And here's a pro tip. Look for reviews from people who have similar foot concerns or body types as you. Their experiences can be especially helpful.
It's the wisdom of the crowd. Real people sharing their honest opinions. But reading reviews can be a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
How do we avoid getting lost in the sea of opinions?
Focus on reviews that mention the specific features we've been discussing, cushioning, arch support, stability, and width. See what people are saying about how those features feel and perform in real life.
Okay, so we've done our research, narrowed down our choices, and we're ready to hit the stores armed with our newfound knowledge and a notepad full of promising brands. What happens next?
This is where the fun begins. It's time to try on those shoes and put them to the test. Remember, comfort is king. Don't settle for anything that feels even slightly off.
I love that comfort is king. It's like giving ourselves permission to be picky. But honestly, sometimes I feel a little awkward walking around a shoe store testing out different pairs. Any tips on making the most of the experience?
Absolutely. First, don't be shy about trying on multiple sizes. Even if you think you know your size, different brands and styles can fit differently. And as we discussed earlier, your feet may have changed size due to weight gain or structural changes.
That's true. I've definitely clung to my usual size in the past, only to realize later that my feet were screaming for more space.
It happens. And here's another important tip. Try on shoes at the end of the day when your feet are slightly swollen. This will ensure that the shoes are comfortable even when your feet are at their largest.
Ah, that's brilliant. It's like planning for the worst case scenario. So trying on shoes in person at the end of the day when our feet are a bit puffy. Got it.
Yeah.
Any other tips for getting the most out of the fitting process?
Yes, don't just stand there, walk around the store, go up and down a few stairs if possible, and really pay attention to how the shoes feel. Do they pinch anywhere? Do your feet feel supported? Are your toes able to wiggle freely?
It's like giving the shoes a test drive. And if something feels off, we're moving on to the next pair.
Exactly. Don't hesitate to try on multiple styles and brands, even if they look similar. Sometimes those subtle differences in design can make a big difference in how the shoe feels on your foot.
I never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
But it makes sense. It's like those seemingly identical white t-shirts that somehow fit completely differently.
Precisely. And while you're trying on shoes, don't be afraid to ask for help. Salespeople at shoe stores are often quite knowledgeable about fit and can offer valuable advice. They might even have specific recommendations for overweight walkers.
I always feel a bit awkward asking for help, but you're right. They're there to guide us to the right choices.
Exactly. They can be a valuable resource. Now, let's say you found the perfect pair they fit well, feel comfortable, and check all the boxes on our checklist. Are we done?
Ooh, good question. Is there anything else we need to know once we've made our purchase?
There's one more important step. Breaking in your new shoes, don't expect them to feel perfect right out of the box. It often takes a little time for shoes to mold to your feet and become truly comfortable.
Ugh, I hate that stiff new shoe feeling.
Oh,
Are there any ways to make that breaking in process less painful?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Start by wearing your new shoes for short periods of time around the house. Gradually increase the wearing time as they start to feel more comfortable. You can also try using a shoe stretcher to help loosen up any tight spots, especially in the toe box or heel area.
I've heard of shoe stretchers, but I've never actually used one. Do they really work?
They can be very effective, especially for people with wider feet or those who need a little extra room in certain areas. You can find shoe stretchers at most shoe stores or online. They're a worthy investment if you want to ensure a comfortable fit.
Okay, so we're breaking in those new shoes, gently giving them time to mold to our feet. What else should we keep in mind as we embark on this journey of happy feet?
One thing to remember is that finding the perfect pair of shoes is a journey, not a destination. Your feet change over time, your weight might fluctuate, and your needs might evolve. Don't be afraid to reevaluate your footwear choices periodically and make adjustments as needed.
That's so true. It's not about finding the one perfect shoe for life. It's about finding the right shoe for this moment in time and being open to adjusting as needed. But, we've been talking a lot about the practical aspects of finding shoes, but there's also an emotional side to this, isn't there?
Absolutely. When your feet feel good, you feel good overall. It's amazing how something as seemingly simple as shoes can impact our mood, confidence, and energy levels.
It's like a chain reaction of positivity. Comfortable feet lead to a happier, more confident you. But I think some people might hesitate to invest time and money in finding the right shoes. What would you say to those who think it's not worth the effort?
I would say that investing in proper footwear is an investment in your health and well-being. It's not just about comfort, it's about preventing pain, reducing the risk of injuries, and improving your overall quality of life. And when you consider the long-term costs of foot problems and medical treatments, investing in good shoes can actually save you money in the long run.
That's a great point. It's like the saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Exactly. And think about all the things you enjoy doing. Walking, exploring, dancing, simply moving through your day with ease. The right shoes can empower you to do all those things with more comfort, confidence, and joy.
I love that. It's about reclaiming our mobility and embracing life to the fullest. And you know what? I'm starting to get excited about shoe shopping. It doesn't sound so daunting anymore.
That's the spirit. And remember, we've only scratched the surface here. There's a whole world of footwear knowledge out there, but we've given our listeners a fantastic foundation to start their own shoe-finding journey.
We certainly have. And when we come back, we'll wrap up our deep dive with some final thoughts and resources to help you find that perfect pair of shoes. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into finding the perfect shoes for overweight walkers. I feel like we've covered so much ground.
We have. We've talked about the science behind why proper footwear is so important, especially if you're carrying extra weight, and we've given our listeners a practical checklist for what to look for when shopping for shoes.
Right? Cushioning, arch support, stability, and of course, those are our non-negotiables. And we can't forget about trying on shoes in person at the end of the day when our feet are a bit swollen. But even with all this knowledge, I can imagine feeling a bit overwhelmed when faced with those endless rows of shoes at the store.
It's true, the sheer number of choices can be daunting. But remember, we've already done the hard part. We've narrowed down our options through research and reviews, and we've armed ourselves with the knowledge to make informed decisions. Now it's all about finding the shoe that feels right for you.
Okay, that makes me feel better. So we're at the store, we've got our short list of brands, and we're ready to try on some shoes.
What are some key things to keep in mind during the fitting process?
One thing to remember is that price isn't always an indicator of quality. Sometimes those less expensive shoes can surprise you with their comfort and support, and on the flip side, some of those high-priced brands might not live up to the hype. It's really about finding what works best for your individual feet and your budget. So no need to break the bank in pursuit of happy feet. That's good to know. But let's say we found a few pairs that seem promising. How do we know which one is the true winner?
This is where you need to tune into your body. Pay close attention to how each shoe feels on your foot. Does the arch feel supported? Does the heel feel secure? Is there enough room in the toe box? Walk around the store, go up and down a few stairs if possible, and really get a sense of how the shoe moves with you.
It's like finding a dance partner. You want a shoe that moves with you, not against you.
Exactly. And don't hesitate to ask the salesperson for their expert opinion. They might have insights into specific brands or styles that are particularly well-suited for overweight walkers.
Right. We've got our own knowledge, and we can tap into their expertise as well. It's like having a whole team of shoe-finding superheroes on our side. But what happens if we've tried on every shoe in the store and we still haven't found the one?
Don't despair. It's okay to walk away empty-handed if nothing feels quite right. It's better to be patient and find a shoe that truly meets your needs than to settle for something that's just okay. And remember, new styles are coming out all the time. You might find your perfect match on your next shopping trip.
That's such a great reminder. Finding the right shoes is a journey, not a race. But, even with all the practical tips and advice we've shared, there's something intangible about this process. It's almost like finding the right shoes can be a transformative experience.
I completely agree. When you find shoes that truly support your feet and make you feel good, it can have a ripple effect throughout your life. Suddenly you're walking with more confidence, you're more active, you're more willing to try new things. Those shoes have unlocked a new level of freedom and joy.
It's like they've given you wings.
Yeah.
And that feeling, that sense of empowerment and well-being is priceless.
Absolutely. And that's why we're so passionate about sharing this information with our listeners. We want to empower you to make informed choices about your footwear and experience the transformative power of comfortable, supportive shoes.
Well said. And you know what? I think we've accomplished our mission today. We've taken our listeners on a deep dive into the world of footwear for overweight walkers, and hopefully we've equipped them with the knowledge and confidence to find their own perfect pair.
I agree. And remember, listeners, this is just the beginning of your shoe-finding journey. There's always more to learn and explore.
So now that you've learned all about the importance of proper footwear, we have a final thought-provoking question for you. Now that you know all this, what one thing will you do differently when choosing your next pair of walking shoes? Let us know in the comments, and be sure to head to the show notes for links to all the resources we mentioned in this episode. Until next time, happy walking.